Welcome back to SSC class, guys. In previous class, just I have shown you how a simple Lex program looks like. Okay, so that program was taking input and it is displaying the input on a screen. Okay, that's all. A very simple task which was done by that simple Lex program. Okay, so let us exactly see the structure of a Lex program. Sometimes this structure will be asked in your theory exam, or else this structure of a Lex program or ACT program will be asked in your lab exam as a Viva question. Okay, so you have to write and show the examiner this syntax of or structure of a Lex program or ACT program. So now first I discuss about only Lex program syntax or structure of a Lex program. Okay, so every Lex program contains. I have shown only simple program in previous page. Okay, but actually every Lex program contains mainly three sections, guys. Here, that is three parts. Okay, a Lex program is divided into three sections or three parts. The first section is called as a definition section. The second section is called as a rules section. The third section is a user subroutine section. So in these three sections, the first and last sections are very easy. No need to worry more on these first and last sections. Because why? As its name itself is, it is a definition section, correct? So in this definition section, you will just write some declaration statements. You are going to declare some variables or something, right? Assignments or initialize statements, whatever you want to write, you will write them in this definition section. Okay, and this definition section begins with one percentage symbol immediately followed by one open parenthesis, and it will be closed with percentage immediately followed by one closed brace. So in between this open brace and closed brace, you will write some declaration statements and some other initialization statements or something here. So these all statements will be written in a C language only. Okay, so since you are writing a .l file, okay, because you are writing a Lex program, correct? You are writing a Lex program, you are writing a Lex program and its file extension is .l file. So as I already told you, Lex will take this file as an input and it produces a .c file as an output, right? So that .c file, whatever you are getting as an output from the Lex, so that is completely purely C file, correct? So here also you are writing C statements only in the form for declaring the variables or initialization something. So these everything whatever you are writing in a definition section, this will be not in a .l format. It will be already you are writing it in a .c file. So, sorry, .c format. Okay, .c syntaxes. So directly our Lex will take this portion or section and it will paste it in a C file, which is going to be produced as an output. So no any more translation or any conversion is going to be taken place here. Okay, because already you are writing the declaration statements or definition section completely in C program only here. Is it clear? So you will write valid C statements only here in this portion, definition section. And after the completion of definition section, whatever you wanted to write, you will write the C programs or C statements here. After that, at the end of your definition section, you have to put one double percentage here. This double percentage indicates that this is the end of a definition section and it is a beginning of a next section, that is a rules section. Okay, this double percentage indicates that it is the end of a definition section and it is indicating it is the beginning of next section, that is rules section. Clear? So I come to this rules section later. Directly I go to first user subroutine section. Okay, as I already told you, the first and last sections are very much easy. Okay, no need to more bother about it. Okay, in user subroutine section also, as its name itself is a user subroutine. Subroutine is nothing but a function or a small part of a code or a program, and who is defining it? User is defining. So you can call it as a user subroutine section or user defined function. So here actually what we write is, here also we write a valid C statements only again. Okay, so here also whatever you are writing the C statements, they no need any translation or conversion from .l to .c. So once again that Lex will completely, it will just copy it and it will paste it in your C file. Since this present existing file is .l file, but it contains C statements here also. The wherever the Lex is finding the C statements, it will just copy them and it will paste them. It will not convert or translate them. Is it clear? So here usually maximum number of times we write a main function here, because in our C program also, the main function is existing. Inside that main function, all the task what I am going to do, I am going to write, correct? So here also I am going to write the main function inside which I am going to write some C statements. Clear now? So first section is a definition section, last section or third section is user subroutine section, which are C statements. Okay, now come to this middle section, guys, which is a rules section, which is very, very important and challenging task for you. You have to concentrate and focus on this only. Okay, because that is the uh, main challenging task for you. And this rules section, as its name itself is called as a rules section, it contains some statements which are called as a rules, or a set of statements which are called as a set of rules, or a list of rules. So these all things whatever you are writing in rules section are called as, each and every line is called as a rule. So all these set of rules are called as rules section. The complete block is called as rules section. Okay, and this rules section again divided into two parts. This is a left side and this is a right side. So always remember, the left side is nothing but a pattern. Here you should keep on writing the patterns here left side, and for each and every pattern what action you have to take, you should mention it in the action portion or action part. In between pattern and action you should give at least one space here. Okay, one space. This space plays a very important role, guys. I think already you have realized it, because in your in your SS lab in a Lex program, if you give one space extra, you will not get output. Okay, if you don't give a space, then also you will not get output, you will get errors. So while giving space, you be very, very careful. In fact, sometimes there is a necessary of giving space in between the square brackets also. If you are writing something in a square bracket, after opening that square bracket you have to give one space. Before closing that close bracket also, square bracket also, you may require to give a space. Okay, so space, giving a space is very, very important, guys. Okay, otherwise you will not get where actually you have made a mistake. So very, very carefully you understand the programs, Lex programs and ACT programs, and strictly I suggest you prepare Lex and ACT programs for your lab directly from the manual what sir has given. Because if you prepare from your journal or some your seniors journal, they since they are human beings, they may not given the space there, and you will not concentrate on it. But if it is a printed program, then it will be very easy for you to identify here is a space or not space. Okay, so my suggestion is you prepare the lab programs directly from the manual, which is a printed. Okay, so here in between pattern and action there is a space is there, so n number of patterns you can write here, and for these patterns you will write the appropriate actions what you want to take for each and every pattern. And these patterns, how to write, sir? These patterns are nothing but they are regular expressions, guys. Okay, so usually we write the patterns in the form of or with the help of regular expressions. For each pattern, what action I have to take, I will write in this portion right side. Clear? And at the end of this rules section, once again I put a double percentage to indicate that it is the end of the rules section and the beginning of the next section, that is user routine subroutine section. Clear? So three sections are there: definition section and the end of the definition section. And just concentrate in definition section, you should begin with percentage open brace and you should end with percentage close brace, and immediately at last you should put double percentage to indicate that it is the end of the definition section and it is beginning of the rules section. And at the end of the rules section, once again, you should put one double percentage, which indicates the end of the rules section and the beginning of the user subroutine section. Clear? So in your entire Lex program, you will get two double percentage, one at the end of the rules definition section and one at the end of the rules section. Is it clear? So this is the syntax of or structure of Lex program, guys. So this Lex program, whatever just now previous page I had written, that was just taking the input and it was printing the output, the text on a output, correct? So output device. So that Lex program was very simple Lex program. That program copies its standard input to its standard output, correct? So since it is printing something on output device, I had used one command there, that is echo statement, echo. Okay, and what it was copying, everything whatever you are typing from your keyboard, it is taking as an input and it is printing it on an output device. So everything it is taking. So simply I used the dot because dot matches everything, every character except new line character. Dot means every character except new line character. Then if you want to match that new line character also, if you want to print that new line character also on your monitor screen or output device, then what you have to do? Mention it separately by using one pipeline or vertical pipeline there. What that vertical pipeline was telling, you take the action of next pattern. So dot is a pattern. Okay, after dot one pipeline was there. What that pipeline is saying, you take the action of next pattern for that dot is a slash n. For that slash n, what action I was taking, I was echoing, I was printing it on my monitor screen. So for slash n also you take the action echo, for dot also you take the action echo. Is it clear now? So it acts exactly like a Unix cat command with no arguments. Cat command is concatenation command in Unix, or else it is also used to know the content of any file. If you want to see, you can use that cat command. Like, so just one example I have shown, I have given here. Cat command, our program just behaves like a cat command of our Unix. Okay, Unix cat command. And Lex automatically generates the actual C program code. Actually, it generates by taking that Lex program as input, our Lex generates a C program code to handle the reading the input file and writing the output. Create, right? So Lex has taken .l file, that is Lex file as an input, and it has created a C file. And then this C file will be the input to your Lexer, and the Lexer will take these all input streams as an input and characters as an input, and it produces the lexemes and the tokens as an output. Okay, and also that the program C program is for reading the input and writing the output. Okay, so because of that only I told you that a C program is not going to do any new task. It is actually equivalent to C program for our earlier .l file. Is it clear? So now we'll go to one more very important example, that is recognizing the words. Recognizing the words. This question will be asked in your theory exam or else in your lab exam also, guys. The same program is there, I think, in your lab experiment. That is write a Lex program to recognize the words. Okay, so here just one simple example I have taken here, then I go to next topic. Okay, so let us write a simple program to recognize the different types of English words, because English language itself is made up of 8 parts of speech, correct? So there we start our problem already you understood, right? So in English sentence, so which is a noun, which is a verb, which is an adverb, which is a preposition, which is a conjunction, which is adjective, which is a verb, which is an adverb. So these all things you have to recognize separately. That's all. This is my task. So then how to do it? So my program or my problem starts with identifying or recognizing first 8 parts of speech. My question is, I have to recognize different English words. English words are nothing but these English words, definitely they belong to any one of these 8 parts of speech. So I think that if I recognize these 8 parts of speech, then my problem will be very much easy for me. So I have to indirectly recognize the 8 parts of speech of my English language. Those 8 parts of speech are noun, pronoun, verb, adverb, adjective, preposition, conjunction, and interjection. In that one, out of 8 parts of speech, for simplicity, for convenient purpose here, I have taken just verb. Okay, it means I am just concentrating on identifying only verbs in a page of text. Okay, okay, or in a paragraph or in a sentence. I just want to identify only verbs. I am not interested in other 7 parts of speech. Why? Just for simplicity, I am telling you how exactly our program will identify the verbs. In the same way, it will identify the remaining 7 parts of speech. So if you understand one thing here, the remaining thing you can do on your own, no problem. Okay, so first, as I told you, our Lex program contains a definition section. So here I have not written any C program declarations here, C declaration statements. Just I have written one a comment line here, a verb or whether it is not a verb. Just one comment line I have written, I have closed that definition section. And my main focus, as I already told you, will be always on how I have to write the regular expression or how I have to write the rules in the rules section. It means how exactly I should write the patterns and actions. So here, first regular expression I have written as a character class, because here square bracket I have used. What character class, what characters you are using here? I have used 2 characters here in between these square brackets. One is a /t, that is a tab, and one more is a space. So this single space as well as this tab, both together are called as a white space. Usually we call it as a white space. Okay. So after immediately square bracket, I have used one plus here. What it means? So you may get in your sentence or in your paragraph or in your text or in your page of a text. So you may get one or more white spaces like this. So one or more, at least there will be one or more white space. Otherwise, if there is no any space, then you call it as only one word. It is correct. So I don't have only one word here. I have a paragraph. I have n number of sentences. So because definitely there are one or more spaces are there, correct? So that's why I have used a plus here. Okay. So this is my pattern. For this pattern, what action I have to take? Semicolon action I have to take. What this semicolon is indicating? Semicolon says that you don't do anything. You don't take any action. Okay. If there is a space, don't do anything. Okay. What is your task? You have to just identify verb. Correct. So next pattern is do. Next pattern is go. Next is run, eat, sleep. So immediately after writing these all verbs, I have used one space here. Then I have used this vertical pipeline. As I already told you, do is a pattern and I have given one space here. Then I used one pipeline here. Pipeline is an action. Action for what? Action for the pattern do. So what this pipeline is telling, you take the action of next pattern. Okay, go to next pattern, and the next pattern is go, that is go. Then its action is also pipeline. What this pipeline is telling, you take the action of next pattern. Next pattern is run. Again you take the action of next pattern. Okay, go to eat. Again you take the action of next pattern, that is sleep. So what is the action for sleep? Now you will get the action, that is printf. It means what you are going to print? You are going to print one string. So that string is a verb. That percentage yes is nothing but YY text. So whenever you start to read your paragraph or sentence or your page, you will keep on scanning all the words. Wherever you will find out the verbs, those verbs will be keep on storing in one array. That array is called as YY text array, which usually I consider it here as a variable. Okay, so the variable this percentage yes value is nothing but the value of this variable YY text. Okay, so the whatever the verb you have recognized and stored in this YY text variable, it will be displayed, and it is a verb. It will display sleep is a verb. do is a verb, go is a verb, run is a verb, eat is a verb. Like this, all verbs, thousands together verbs are there in English language. All verbs you have to make a list of list of those all verbs like this, and then you should write the action like this, guys. Are you understanding how much complicated it is? Correct? Now, it is just only for recognizing verbs. You just imagine how to recognize adjectives, nouns, pronouns, and all those things. Okay, so whatever all the verbs are present in English language, those all verbs you should make a list of all verbs, thousands together verbs like this, and then at last you should write one action for them instead of writing the action for each and every verb like this. Only one action I have written, which is the same action for all the verbs, all the patterns. Just I want to display one sentence, that is percentage s is a verb, right? So then still my rules section is not completed. So apart from these verbs, whatever just you have listed, if you are finding anything which are made up of a capital letter or lowercase letters A to Z or A to Z, one or more characters, then those are not verbs, because already verbs you have made it in separately one set or one separate list you have already made, and one action also you have taken for it. Apart from these verbs, whatever you will look into in on other words, those words are not verb. So you should display one more statement by taking one action, that is printf action. Percentage s is not a verb. Okay, again these verbs, again these non-verb words are also storing in one variable, that is yy text. Whatever you are scanning, it will be keep on storing in that variable yy text in the form of array. Clear? Then dot or slash n, whatever you are matching, you are looking into your dot or slash n, then you can just display it on your monitor screen. So echo I have given here. Okay, so then wherever the end of the sentence comes or end of the line comes, you can display it on your monitor screen. Okay, then double percentage, what it is indicating? It is indicating it is the end of the rules section. Okay, and then I start with the subroutine, user subroutine section, guys. In my user subroutine section, I have just written one main function. Inside the main function, one more function I have written, that is yy_lex. Okay, so what this yy_lex does, what this yy_lex does, we will see. So these all verbs you can make a list of all verbs like jump, play, ring, sing, and dance. Okay, watch, ride, jump, play, drink, sleep. These all verbs you should make a list of all verbs, guys. Okay. Then I wanted to tell you that yy_lex, correct? See, this section consists of any legal C code. Lex copies it to the end of the C code generated by the lex, correct? The entire user subroutine section will be copied and pasted in a .c file. But actually, what is that the yy_lex function? The lexer produced by lex is a C routine, correct? The lexer which is generated by lex is a C function or C file, which is called as yy_lex. So that yy_lex we are calling it as here in the form of a function, that is C file. So if the file name of our program is p2.l, I have given file name as a p2.l. To create an executable program on our Unix system, we enter the following commands. So first we should start executing this program by using this lex command, lex space p2.l. Then I have to compile it by using cc command, lex.yy.c. Okay, because already lex has converted this .l to .c file, and that .c file is nothing but lex.yy.c. I am compiling this C file now by using a C compilers with one option called .ll. Okay, so let's translate this lex specification, that is nothing but a set of description of tokens we have given to lex, that is .l function into .l file into C source file called lex.yy.c, which we compiled and linked with the lex library. .ll is nothing but lex library, that is we have given that library in the form of a option of my Unix command, that is a cc command for compilation, okay, -ll. Then we execute the resulting program to check whether it works as per our expectation or not. Okay, so that I think you will give one more command there, /a.out. Correct. So these all things you should understand, guys. I think already sir has explained how to execute Lex programs and all those things. So here just I wanted to tell you what is that YY-Lex. YY-Lex is nothing but it is a C program. Okay. So that it means that inside this function, the body of that function contains C statements only, and that C statements are produced by the Lex, and that C statement itself is nothing but it is a lexer. So to this YY-Lex only, we are passing the C program as an input or input characters as an input to this YY-Lex, and this YY-Lex will generate the set of tokens. Next step it is. Okay. So, okay. Next come to recognizing parts of speech like this. So it is a verb, it is an adverb. Here I have listed some simply just for our understanding purpose, some 4 to 5 adverbs I have listed here, and one action I have written for adverb. Then I have listed some prepositions. I have written one action for all prepositions. Similarly, for all 8 parts of speech, you should write a program like this, guys. Okay. Okay. Next. Next symbol table is there. I first complete this symbol table, then I go there. See, symbol table. The actually definition of symbol table here I have written. It is a table of words. Okay, it is a table of words. Is a simple table, symbol table, which is a common structure in the Lex and ACK applications. Because as when I had started a simple compilation process, compilation phases. All 7 phases were used to communicate with this symbol table. Correct. What all the things we were adding to this symbol table? Whatever the input you are keep on reading from the input, those all input characters, lexemes and tokens are keep on adding to this symbol table. And actually, if it is a data type, what is the size of that data type, and if it is a variable or identifier, what type of variable it is, what is the data type of that variable, and what is the length of that variable, what is the size of that variable. Every information we use to insert in this symbol table, guys. Correct. So symbol table is a table of words, which is a simple symbol table, which is a common structure in Lex and ACK applications. So we can list more words than earlier examples. Correct. So here in earlier example, just for your simplicity, I had just written some 4 to 5 verbs, some 4 to 5 adverbs, some 4 to 5 nouns, and some 4 to 5 pronouns like this, right? So here, in fact, the entire all words we can make a list of all those words. Okay, so we can consider as many words as we want, and those all words we can put it into our symbol table. If we build a table of words, then we can add a new words without modifying and recompiling the Lex program. So you can keep on adding all the words, all parts of speech to this symbol table. In our next example, we use some dynamic declaration of parts of speech as the lexer is running. So even when the lexer is running, so immediately you can add the uh, uh, different parts of speech in during the execution of program also. So during the execution of program also, you can add the words, 8 parts of speech to your symbol table. And declaration lines starts with the name of a parts of speech followed by words to declare. So following 2 lines declare 4 nouns and 3 verbs. So here 2 lines I have written, guys. The first line is declaring 4 nouns. What are those 4 nouns? First noun is dog, cat, horse, cow. These 4 nouns we have declared. In second line, we declared 3 verbs. So these 2 statements are called as a declaration statements. Okay. So how we should declare them? It means first we should start with the name of parts of speech. That name is a noun here, and immediately we should follow by the words to declare. What all the words you want to declare, you should keep on writing, keep on listing them like this. Correct? So this is how we can declare the parts of speech. Then a table of words is a symbol table, which is a common structure in a Lex and ACK application. A C compiler stores the variable names, structure names, function names, okay, labels, enumeration tags, and all other names used in our program in its compiler's symbol table. Correct? So everything whatever we are using in our C program, all each and every category of words, some words may be belonging to keywords, some words may be belonging to identifiers, some words may be belonging to some punctuations. Okay, so they may be variable identifiers, means variable names, function names, structure names. Okay, so this everything we will keep on adding or inserting into our symbol table, guys. And each and every name is stored along with the information of that name. Information of that name is nothing but, just now I told you, the name of variable, size of variable, length of variable, type of variable. Okay, whether it is integer type or floating type, or what type of variable it is. Every information will be available in our symbol table. In C compiler, this information is a type of symbol. Okay, which type of symbol it is, type of a variable, declaration scope. It means whether it is a local variable or a global variable. Okay, then etc. Every information will be available in our table. Okay, in our example, the information is the parts of a speech, guys. In our example, where we are recognizing the words, so the information which is present in our symbol table is nothing but it is a information about parts of speech. Correct? Okay, then in any other programs, usually the information will be type of symbol, type of variable, declaration scope, etc. Okay, so adding a symbol table changes the ledger. Adding a symbol table changes the ledger. Instead of putting a separate patterns for each word to match, we have a single pattern that matches any word, and we use that symbol table to decide which part of the speech is found. So these all things just for your understanding purpose, guys. So now how to insert the words in our or symbols in our table, that we will see now. Now names of part speech like noun, verb, etc. are reserved words. Correct? They are reserved words because they introduce or generate a new declaration line. Now we still have a separate Lex pattern for each reserved word. We also have to add symbol table maintenance routines, guys. Symbol table is okay, but we should maintain that symbol table, right? So these two functions we use to maintain the symbol table. One is add word and second one is a lookup word. As it's the name of those functions itself are add word. Here this function is going to help us to simply keep on inserting or adding the words to our symbol table. So puts a new word into the symbol table, that's all. Then a lookup. Lookup is nothing but search in a particular word if you are interested. It means if you are interested only in verbs, so you just in that also particularly which verb you are interested. Suppose if you are interested in the particular word verb like a study, so that particular word will be searched in your symbol table, because in symbol table everything is there. All verbs are there, all nouns are there, all pronouns are there, all eight parts of speech are there. Correct? But you are interested in a particular verb, and if it is present in that symbol table, then only your program output will be like this. The study is a verb. Okay, or else it will not find it and it will give you verb is not found in a symbol table, or verb is not study is not a verb. So this type of unexpected output you may get. So because of that, all verbs are listed in symbol table, and if you are interested in any one particular verb, you can search it in that symbol table. So for that we use this lookup word function. Looks up or searches a word which should be already entered. Correct? And also we declare the variable state variable here that keeps on tracking all we are declaring the words. What all the words we have declared, it will keep on tracking what are the declared words or looking up the words. So therefore state also remembers what kind of words we are declaring. So state variable is also very important, guys. It will be keep on tracking what type of words we are inserting or what type of words we are declaring. Okay. So whenever we use a line starting with the name of a parts of speech, we use the variable state to declare that kind of words. Whenever we see an slash n, we switch back to the normal lookup state. Okay, so these all things are your extra knowledge purpose, guys. And next topic is grammars. Okay, so today I wind up my class here only. In tomorrow's class I continue from this topic, that is grammars. Clear? Okay, have a nice day, guys. In the next class I start again with these grammars. Okay, today I think I don't take a CGV class because I am tired. In today's class only, I again continue CGV as well as one class I take for this SSC. Okay. Okay, guys, have a nice day. See you tomorrow.